we started talking on uh, kusala as another part of sankhara. Uh, but the word kusala is not attached with the word sankhara, although there are sankharas called punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, anidabhi sankhara. But we mentioned this earlier. But for kusala, there is no such word kusala, kusala sankhara, and so forth. But under sankhara, kusala also come very definitely. That is the mental activities that we commit in order to shorten our existence in samsara and liberate from samsara. That is called kusala. I mentioned there are 10 punyas, and similarly there are 10 kusalas. 10 apunya, that means unwholesome work, the kamma. Similarly, there are on the wholesome side, on the kusala side, there are akusala. That is unskillful thoughts, words, and deeds. Now, these kusala or wholesome, skillful thoughts, words, deeds are very popular things. Although we don't, when we try to practice it, we don't think in terms of sankhara. What are they? There are 10 wholesome sankharas, the skillful, and 10 unskillful. First, unskillful I should mention because this is very popular thing among Buddhists. They are killing, stealing, sensual misconduct by the body we commit, then uh, slanderous talk or malicious talk, harsh speech, telling lies, and frivolous, meaningless talk. These are by mouth. That's called verbal akusala. And then mental akusala are abhijja, vyapada, michaditi. Abhijja means intense greed or covetousness, vyapada, hatred, and uh, wrong view, michaditi. Now, let me explain each of them separately, although we know them by heart, most of us. First is killing is an akusala, unwholesome, unskillful deed. There is no justification in Buddhist teaching for killing. Although we may find various reasons, various uh, needs and necessities for killing, but in the if we want to liberate ourselves from suffering, we must refrain from killing. And the killing of any type definitely pollute our minds. Uh, we afflict the pain on the subject, the person or animal that we kill. At the same time, we uh, inflict pain in our mind, and also we pollute our mind, because you cannot kill without having greed, hatred, and delusion in your mind. As we know, ignorance is behind all this. The root of killing root of all these unskillful thoughts, words, and deeds uh, is uh, three: greed, hatred, and delusion. As long as they are there, we commit unskillful thoughts, words, and deeds. So killing is number one in this list. It can put in any order, but in our uh, daily practice, people recite this as number one. Stealing is unskillful. It has many implications, many results that pollute our mind, and also it causes a lot of problems to others, to the society, families, friends, and so forth. Therefore, it is unskillful. Then, uh, committing sensual misconduct, I say sensual instead of sexual misconduct. Many places people use the word sexual misconduct, but sensual misconduct covers the wider range, uh, abusing our senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. One of the senses is the body. Sexual misconduct is sexual misconduct comes under that section, abusing our body. And of course, to abuse the body, we have to abuse our mind and abuse our words, because we use many times people are not very honest and sincere when they get involved in sensual misconducts. And therefore, it again pollutes our mind, and that would hinder our progress in the path to liberation. Then the verbally, we if we lie, if we use malicious talk to break friendship, I said pisuna vacha, Pali word is pisuna. Pisuna comes from pe. Suna is sunya. That is destroying the friendship between two people or two parties. That is called pisuna vacha. By talking maliciously, like slandering, uh, telling one person's weaknesses to other, and also uh, creating disharmony between them. That is sensual, what you call uh, slanderous talk. Uh, so the first one is telling lies. And the third is harsh speech, directly or indirectly, to hurt people and anyone, even animals, uh, using harsh words. And then the last is uh, talk that sort of just frivolous, doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't bring any peace and harmony to us. It is just a waste of time. And other three I will talk after first part of our meditation, and I will continue this only unwholesome, unskillful side. Okay, now let us begin with our metta practice, and we all join together. You can see the passages on the screen that we recite every day. I think all of you are very familiar. Uh, Also, today's we want to dedicate our marriage to especially Mumu's husband, who passed away exactly a week ago. And normally in Buddhist tradition, we do little ceremony to commemorate the deceased on the seventh day. And that is that day we all wish him to have peace, happiness, and liberate from samsara. With this metta thought in mind, we start this practice. May all beings be happy and secure. May
May
all
all
beings
beings
have
have
happy
happy
minds,
minds,
whatever
whatever
living
living
beings
beings
there
there
may
may
be,
be,
without
without
exception,
exception,
weak
weak
or
or
strong,
strong,
long,
long,
large,
large,
medium,
medium,
short,
short,
subtle
subtle
or
or
gross,
gross,
visible
visible
or
or invisible,
invisible, living
living
near
near
or
or
far,
far,
born
born
or
or
coming
coming
to
to
birth.
birth.
May
May
all
all
beings
beings
have
have
happy
happy
minds.
minds.
Let
Let
no
no
one
one
deceive
deceive
another,
another,
nor
nor
despise
despise anyone
anyone anywhere.
anywhere, neither
Neither
from
from anger
anger
nor
nor
ill
ill
will
will
should
should
anyone
anyone
wish
wish
harm
harm
to
to
another.
another,
As
as
a
a
mother
mother
would
would
risk
risk
her
her
own
own
life
life
to
to
protect
protect
her
her
only
only
child,
child.
even
Even
so
so,
towards
towards
all
all
living
living
beings,
beings,
one
one
should
should
cultivate
cultivate
a
a
boundless
boundless
heart.
heart.
One
One should
should cultivate
cultivate
for
for
all
all
the
the
world
world
a
a
heart
heart
of
of
boundless
boundless
loving
loving
friendliness,
friendliness,
above,
above,
below,
below,
and
and
all
all
around,
around,
unobstructed,
unobstructed,
without
without
hate
hate
or
or
resentment,
resentment,
whether
whether
standing,
standing,
walking,
walking,
sitting,
sitting,
lying
lying
down,
down,
or
or
when you
whenever
are awake.
awake.
One
One
should
should
develop
develop
this
this
mindfulness.
mindfulness.
This
This
is
is
called
called
divinely
divinely
dwelling
dwelling
here,
here,
not
not
falling
falling
into
into
erroneous
erroneous
views,
views,
but
but
virtuous
virtuous
and
and
endowed
endowed
with
with
vision,
vision,
removing
removing desire
desires
for
for sensual
sensual
pleasures.
pleasures.
One
One
comes
comes
never
never
again
again
to
to
birth
birth
in
in
the
the womb.
womb. With this metta thought, let us continue our practice. We want to wish all those who are in pain and suffering due to this virus and otherwise, and those who are supporting them, and the family members of those who are affected by this virus, and especially those who even passed away. Their members are still in sorrow, mourning, grief stricken, and therefore we want to wish them peace and happiness. We recited this metta with utmost sincerity, wishing all of them peace and happiness. Now we want to focus our mind on our breathing as we normally do. Pay total undivided attention to the breath, noticing inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling, noticing expanding and contracting our abdomen, lower abdomen, and expanding and contracting of our lungs area, and expanding and the touch of breath at the rims of our nostrils. I mention these three places particularly because there are some people who can select whichever they like to focus their mind on. Some people are more comfortable with one or the other, and you yourself decide which one you should pay attention to. While you are paying attention, you breathe in and out, then you can notice the middle or the pause between inhaling and exhaling, and you can become aware of that. And that pause also is not too long. It happens and disappears very quickly, and yet it is relatively noticeable. Other beginning, middle, and end also noticeable, but you need a very sharp awareness and mindfulness to notice this. Pay undivided mindful attention. Mindful attention, I must say once again, is the attention without greed, without hatred, or without delusion. When we do pay such attention, we begin to feel, necessarily we feel the breath either at the rims of our nostrils or chest area or abdominal area. We feel the breath. Then we perceive that feeling, then we pay attention, that is our volition. We pay attention willingly. And then we are conscious of all of them. As we breathe in and out, all these feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness change together with the breath. That is very normal, natural thing that happens to us as we breathe in and out. And then our body becomes relatively calm, relaxed, and peaceful. Mind becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. Breath becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. When these three, the body, breath, the mind, are calm, relaxed, and peaceful, our greed for anything fades away. Greed is a bother when the mind is calm, relaxed, and peaceful. So mind is not interested in greed. So greed fades away. And then our resentment or anger is another thorn-like feeling if it arises in the mind when the mind is calm, relaxed, and peaceful. So greed naturally fades away. And then our metta takes root. When metta takes root, we feel even more relaxed, calm, and peaceful. Then compassion arises, particularly knowing that there are so many millions of people suffering. Our heart goes to them. We feel very sympathetic towards them. That is our compassion. When these two, loving friendliness and generosity and compassion arise, then mind becomes free from greed, hatred, and sleepiness and drowsiness, restlessness and worry, and doubt. Especially we will be free from doubt for now, because we have experienced what I mentioned. We experience the feeling, perceptions, our letting go of our greed and the resentment and so forth. When they leave, we experience great calmness and relax and peace. This gives us confidence. That is our doubt fades away. Doubt fades away when we see the results. And then we gain concentration. When we gain concentration without all these things, while I am saying all these things, they may not happen, but when you practice without using words, you really will experience this and then gain concentration. When you gain concentration, you see even deeper and subtler changes going on in your body, breath, and the mind, feeling, perceptions, and so forth. They are constantly changing, and that you become aware of when you gain concentration. Now, with this, let us do our practice. Dukkha patta dukkha, bhaya patta nibhaya, soka patta nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. This is once again, friends, our very earnest wish that may all those who are suffering from this virus be free from that, and those who are helping them to recover also find peace and happiness, and those who are suffering, grieving, mourning the death of those loved ones, be free from that mourning, grieving, and come to their normal life, free from stress, disappointment, and so on. And we want to wish all of them to be free from this grief. And those who are helping them in many ways to recover, like doctors, nurses, hospital helpers, and everyone in many different ways trying to help them also find peace, happiness, and be very successful. Let me continue this talk again. This morning we started talking on Kusala Kamma. My main topic is Sankara. Somebody asked the question, asked me to explain the difference between Sankara and Kamma. I've been talking on Kamma, various aspects of Kamma. Yesterday I ended talking on Punya Kamma. Today I started talking on Kusala Kamma. Punya Kamma makes our lives in samsara happy and prolong samsaric existence. Kusala Kamma shorten our samsaric existence and liberate us from samsara. That is the main difference between these two. So stopped at the seventh uh, Kusala Kamma, Akusala Kamma, that is the last one is gossip or uh, useless or frivolous talks, abstaining from that. So committing that is akusala karma. And there are three akusala karmas. They are called abhijja, vyapada, michaditti. Abhijja sounds like avidya. Avidya is ignorance. Abhijja is covetousness, intense greed, which definitely is an akusala mental state. Uh, we keep suffering because of our this particular akusala karma. Avidya, it also doesn't seem to be very uh, active, doesn't seem to be dynamic, but that is very powerful, mental, unskillful karma, because our thinking will be affected by abhijja. Our word will be affected by abhijja. Our deeds will be affected by abhijja. We may talk, we may think with greed, we may speak with greed, and we will act with greed. And therefore, abhijja is one mental, unskillful kamma. And then vyapada, vyapada is an highly charged negative mental state that is like a grudge. It may start with very uh, weak, minor, simple way, but irritation, anger, resentment, and so forth, if we do not take care of them at those uh, stages, then it eventually turns into grudge. And that is the very dangerous mental state, which can even lead the person to do physical harm, even killing. Therefore, grudge or vyapada is very dangerous mental state. Although it doesn't appear to be active, but when the mind is charged with this uh, mental state, then that person can uh, think with grudge, speak with grudge, and does something with grudge. And therefore it is very unpleasant, very painful, very unskillful. It blocks the person's path to liberation. The last mental unskillful karma is ignorance or micchaditti. Micchaditti is very, very powerful mental karma because the micchaditti or wrong view uh, also blocks our way of seeing things correctly, rightly. Micchaditti persons' thoughts are wrong, words are wrong, and deeds are wrong. Why they are called wrong? Because they they cause harm to oneself, harm to others, and harm to both. That which causes harm to oneself, others, and both is called wrong. Micchaditti person thinks killing is okay. Under certain circumstances, they want to kill. Stealing is okay. For certain reasons, they think stealing is okay. Then committing sexual misconduct is okay. All these that we listed earlier as unskillful uh, karmas, Michaditi person thinks they are not unskillful. They are very skillful. We have to commit them for our survival. So that is how Michaditi affect a person's entire thinking, uh, entire attitude, entire life. Michaditi can affect. And therefore that will definitely make his samsaric journey very painful, and liberation from samsara would be very, very much muddied and will be very difficult. Then the wholesome or skillful things are just the opposite of it. Instead of killing, uh, skillfully, a person not only abstain from killing, abstaining from killing is the beginning, and then the person has to do something positive. When you abstain from killing, then you try to support life, do various things to promote life, and sometimes there are many very wonderful people who try to rescue animals, and they try to uh, protect animals, and many animals, of course, species are uh, uh, going out of existence. They become extinct now. Some people try to organize societies, clubs, and try to save these vanishing, disappearing species instead of killing. Some animals, especially, are killed for meat for various reasons, and these very wonderful people not only abstain from killing, but they try to help them uh, live, bringing various methods, various systems, organizing, opening sanctuaries to protect them. That's a very positive, wholesome thing and a skillful thing. Skillful uh, for not only their lives but even for our own lives. For instance, we just recently came to know from media that certain animals have been extinguished, extinct, and therefore what they have contributed to the environment is now in danger. Therefore, is now disappearing, and the environment is going to be going to hurt, and therefore that is a very skillful thing if we do to protect species, disappearing species. That is number one of the skillful uh, karma, good karma. And then not stealing. Not stealing is a very noble, generous thing. Abstaining from stealing is one thing. Not uh, even having the thought of stealing is another. Uh, that is promoting generosity, promoting sharing, uh, and becoming honest. That becomes a wholesome karma or skillful karma because of the benefit we get from this practice. Then the third is sensual misconduct, and abstaining from that is the kusala karma, wholesome karma. That means we restrain our senses. We don't restrain does not mean we close our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and so on. Restraining simply means that we don't do, don't use, don't abuse them. Use them uh, as necessary in following moderation. We use them and use them skillfully. Eyes we can use skillfully to read Dhamma, to see Dhamma, uh, and we can see people with friendly thought, friendly attitude. We can see people with compassion using our eyes. Similarly, we must listen with compassion to others, with understanding, uh, and so forth. This is the way how we use these our senses without abusing them. Then uh, that is the third. Then the fourth is uh, telling the truth uh, not only abstaining from from lying, but talking or telling, speaking the truth, factual things. What is what we have seen, we must say we have seen it. If we have not seen something, we must say we have not seen it. And like that, our with our utmost honesty, sincerity, we must speak the truth. Uh, the speaking truth, anybody can do, and even to go to heaven, one can speak the truth. Buddha says, "Satyang bane nagujyeya dajja pasmi piyajito ete iti tane gache devana santike." Speak the truth, Satyang bane nagujyeya, don't get angry. Dajja pasmi piyajito, practice generosity. By doing these three things, one can go to heaven. Who cannot do that? Buddhists can do that. Buddhists can speak the truth. Hindus can speak the truth. Muslims can, Jews can speak. Even those who don't have religions can speak the truth. Don't get angry. Not only Buddhists, Hindu, Muslim, Jews, and so forth. Anybody can live without getting angry if they want to. Anybody can practice that. And then speak, and generosity, sharing things. Anybody can share things with anybody. And therefore, Buddha said, when you practice these three things, you can go to heaven. Anybody can go to heaven by practicing these three things. So, uh, the number fourth is uh, speaking the truth. That definitely brings you to heaven. Not only that, when we speak the truth, truth has also two aspects, conventional truth and eternal truth or ultimate truth. Uh, we not only speak the conventional truth, we also must speak the ultimate truth, eternal truth. What is that? Eternally true, suffering is eternally true. It is not a, temporary thing, it is true. And we must speak without any fear, hesitation, reservation. We must speak of the truth. The people accept it or not, it their listeners' responsibility. But our responsibility is to speak the truth. And the cause of suffering is true. Greed and ignorance are the causes of suffering. We must talk of them. That is a very skillful talk. Uh, the truth, skillful talk. And then end of suffering. We not only have suffering, this as it is impermanent, it will come to an end one day. And so we must talk about the end of suffering. And then we must speak the way to lead to the end of suffering. The way I mentioned several times, one is the Noble Eightfold Path, and the other is dependent origination. And dependent origination is very important subject. That is what we selected to talk on that. And Noble Eightfold Path also extremely important. And these two we can combine these two together. In the course of time, we will do that. And therefore, these two are called middle path. Dependent origination is the middle path, and the other, uh, um, starting with right understanding, also is a middle path. The right understanding and so forth is the middle path because it avoid extremes, two extremes. There are various type of extremes. Uh, Dependent origination is called middle path because that also avoid extremes such as somebody can say everything exists, somebody else can say nothing exists. But both are extremes and both are not true. But the dependent origination says, yes, when you see rising, uh, you cannot say that nothing exists. You can say rising and rising something. Then you can say something is. When you see passing away, you can see that what exists passes away. So you can see both sides, rising and passing. If you don't see the passing, you will think that things simply exist. It is, it is half the truth, not the full truth, complete truth. Or you have to see both rising and falling, disappearing. Only then your truth is complete. And therefore, that is also called the middle path, because we talk about the truth without falling into one category or the other, impartially. Right in the Noble Eightfold Path also is impartial thing. It doesn't belong to somebody. It is the truth, nature. Dependent origination also is doesn't belong to anybody. It is the truth, it is the law that exists, whether the Buddhas come into existence or not. That exists just like impermanence, exists all the time. Dependent origination. Things arise depending on something and they pass us away. They pass away depending on something. When one exists, the other exists. When one passes away, other passes away. That is the very simple formula of dependent origination. So we speak the truth. When we speak the truth, this is the truth we have to speak. We can bring these things in our daily life. And this is a very big subject. Anytime when we meet, we can talk about this without any hesitation. That is speaking the truth. Then, uh, what do you call right speech? Uh, Among the what do you call slanderous talk, we avoid slanderous talk and you speak very uh, gently, kindly. First, speak in the truth, then speak in a cordial way, friendly way, uh, in a concordance rather than discordant. When two people are not in good terms, we must try to talk to each of them and both of them to bring them together, to make them friends again. That is a very skillful talk, because when we bring people together, make them live happily, we are happy to see them living very friendly way, happy way. We are happy. And therefore it is that is good for our own mental state, good for their mental state. When we try to meditate, we can gain better concentration. When they try to meditate, they can get better concentration. They will be living a happy life. We will be living a happy life. And therefore, from all angles, we can see the cordial, friendly talk with metta, compassion, understanding, and so forth is a very skillful talk. And that is why it is called skillful uh, Kamma. All these are skillful Kammas. Uh, Sometimes people think karma is some kind of mysterious something. No, friends, these are very practical things. In our daily life, we commit karmas, and so we have to sort out what karma we commit: wholesome, unwholesome, skillful, unskillful. So that is the speech. Then among the and the third is harsh speech, abstaining from harsh speech. Actually, speaking very gentle, soft way makes our heart cool and calm and relaxed. And the listener also will be calm, relaxed, and feel comfortable. For instance, if we talk to our animal, our cat, our dogs, in a very soft, gentle way. They are very, very friendly with us. Some, I think, biologists or some people have found out that if we plant trees and if we, the same kind of tree you plant in a certain your greenhouse or somewhere or outside in your garden, and you speak very harshly to one tree and gently and softly, kindly to the other tree, the one you speak very harshly will not grow very well. It is, it is not animate object, but it is inanimate. It has only uh, natural way of growing. They don't have mind. But the one who, the tree you speak very softly and gently, kindly, grows very well, yielding rich results, uh, fruit, uh, what you call nuts and berries and so forth. So the one, even the plant responds to a gentle and kind and soft words, let alone animals. Then that is very skillful. When you see your plant growing very well, you are happy. When you see a plant not growing very well, you are not happy. So that speech, soft and gentle speech, is very skillful thought. For that you need a very good heart. And then last of the speeches is useless speech. I say useless speech uh, also again sometimes lead to some problem. Gossip leads to some kind of problems. They may not base on facts and figures and truths. They just, what are we going to get? What benefit are we going to get by talk about somebody's dress? Uh, it has the color of the dress and so forth, the way how you behave in your party, and so forth. So many frivolous, useless, meaningless talk we make, and they are not going to bring us any benefit. It rather sometimes, most of the time, gossip leads to various other misunderstanding and quarreling and bickering and slandering. So many other things leading to misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and so forth. Because when we gossip, you just try to enjoy, but you don't pay attention to the essence of the words. And therefore, we have to be very careful about that. And then the last three of the skillful Kamma in this category, uh, Abhijja, Vyapada, Michhaditya are the wrong side, wholesome side. Instead of Abhijja, we practice generosity. We try to share things with others. Actually, sharing is a very natural, normal thing. I have seen even little children. Suppose one child has three or four candy, and there are two or three other people, other children. So this child tries to share his candy with another child. That child will refuse to take. He said, "No, I don't need for any reason." And this child will cry, "Mommy, he doesn't receive accept my candy." He cries. Why? He wants to have the joy, pleasure of sharing. The other child, for some reason, he doesn't want. Not upset or something, but mommy might have told you, don't eat candy anymore. Don't receive candy from anybody. Don't eat. For this reason, to respect the mother, to be as a very obedient child. He may accept it. But this child does not know that. He simply wants to share. So the sharing is a very natural thing. I heard anthropologists say the primates, they were walking on their fours, and then one day they started lifting their hands. They lifted their hands not to fight, but to share their food with those others who are unable to move. Other primates, they are old or sick and so on, and they need food, and some of their relatives manage to lift their hands to bring something to give to this sick person, elderly primate. So sharing is a very natural instinct of living beings, and we cultivate it instead of cultivating uh, covetousness, greed, and the giver enjoys the gift rather than recipient. That is why the child cries, he enjoys the gift, giving. So, friend, I think this may be enough. There is two more. I will finish them tomorrow. And we have an announcement to make.
Right. Let me just pull this up here. Ah, there it is. So I just wanted to make an announcement. Many of you may already be aware that Vesak, the holiday that celebrates when the Buddha was the full moon day of May, that the Buddha was born, reached enlightenment, and also died, is coming up on Thursday, the 7th. So 2 days from now. And Bhavana Society has organized a series of Dhamma talks throughout the day. So for those of you who aren't able to see the chat box in our Zoom program, I'm making this announcement, but for those of you that can see it, just look at Prashant's message that he put. Anyway, we will be live streaming 4 Dhamma talks throughout the day.
Yeah.
And we're going to be live streaming them to YouTube, so the Zoom links won't be the access point on Thursday. Anyway, for the full schedule and the link and more information, please go to the Bhavana Society website. It should be there. And we'll keep making these announcements in the morning and evening session throughout today and tomorrow. So thank you all for being with us today.
Okay, let us conclude this morning session. Once again, friends, I want to wish all those who are sick be well, return to their normal health, and those who are suffering from they are losing their relatives and have pain, grieving, may they recover from that soon, and their departed relatives be liberated from samsara. This is our earnest wish. And again, we want to wish everybody to be peaceful and happy and attain liberation in this life. Let them have a very wonderful, happy, healthy life and live long in very good health. Thank you very much for participating in this. There were a lot of people, and I wish more people join and more people benefit, more people be happy and live long in peace.